How you doing? Rev here. There's an old proverb that says, "He that observeth the wind will not sow." In other words, if you're a farmer and you wait for all the conditions and the circumstances to be right in order to get out there and sow your crop, you're never going to do it. And it's the same thing with hiking, backpacking, and through hiking. If you wait for all the situations and all the circumstances to be perfect for you to get out and walk that trail, then you're never going to do it. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about how to take what the trail gives you. Have you ever hiked with somebody, or maybe heard somebody talk about hiking, or maybe you do it, just complain about everything about the trail? Trail's too long, the trail's too short, the trail goes uphill too much, trail goes downhill too much, too many river crossings, it's too hot, and on and on and on it goes. Let me just say, number one, there is no perfect trail. Every trail has what I call opportunities. There's always something that you're not going to like about a trail, and there's going to be things that you are going to just be ecstatic over. Every trail has pros and cons. Every trail has things that you're going to like about it. Every trail is going to have things that you're not going to like about it. For example, the Pacific Crest Trail in Oregon, it's not completely flat. It doesn't have the elevation, let's say, that the Sierra does. You can say, well, I'm just going to hike Oregon and just skip the Sierra. Well, that's not the Pacific Crest Trail. It's all in one. Enjoy the pros and adapt to the cons. What do I mean? Listen, enjoy the beauty of the trail no matter what's happening. If it's raining or you're doing a 4,000, 5,000 foot climb, just enjoy the beauty of the trail. But there are some things that you've got to adapt to. Again, take the Pacific Crest Trail. If you're hiking in the Sierra during a high snow year, then you're going to have to realize that you can't make as many miles as you could, let's say, in the desert. You're going to have to carry extra equipment like an ice axe and crampons or micro spikes, something like that. Again, when I did the Pacific Crest Trail, when I was in the Mojave Desert right before Kennedy Meadows, it was very, very hot there. In fact, one time it got up to 114 degrees during the heat of the day. And so I had to adapt to the heat on the trail. And one of the ways that I adapted is I would get up earlier in the morning and start hiking in the cool of the day, or the cooler of the day. And then when it started getting hot, I would take a siesta. There were several times that I hiked all night long and then slept during the daytime. Again, it's not ideal, but that's what the trail gives you, and so you've got to adapt to it. If the trail is rocky, then you're going to have to be careful and watch where you put your foot. Otherwise, you're going to turn a ankle and sprain an ankle, and then you're going to have to get off trail because you get injured. If the trail includes a lot of road walking, like the Pinhoti trail that I did, then you're going to have to, first of all, go against the traffic. Don't go with the traffic. When I did the Ireland Way, there was a lot of road walking, and one time it was one of those one-lane roads, and I had to get out of the way because there was a truck that was coming down the road, and it was only just a little bit of distance on each side, and I had to basically jump into the brush, and there was some nettles there. And as soon as my leg hit those nettles, I could tell what they were. Oh my goodness. If it starts to rain, then make sure you have a good rain jacket with a hood. But again, adapt to the trail, adapt to the situations on the trail. Next, realize that someone would love to be hiking the trail that you're hiking right now. Again, when I was hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, and I was in the Sierra section, man, it was just a rough day. And I got to the end of the day, and I was sitting there complaining to myself, you know, why am I doing this? Man, I could be at home watching TV or whatever. And then I stopped, and I looked in the distance, and there was this guy with these, I think he might have had like polio or something, and he had these metal, I don't know what you call them, but braces on his arms, on his legs, and he was going up the trail. And now bear in mind, he wasn't going very fast, but he was just taking one pain laboring step at a time. And man, I looked at this guy, and I thought, here I am complaining. I got two good legs, two good arms, and I'm sitting here complaining about this trail. And here's this guy that's just so thankful to be out in nature. And so again, don't complain about the trail that you're doing, because somebody would love to do this trail. When I hiked the Ireland Way, I experienced something that I never had experienced in the United States, and that was walking in a bog or bogland. And it's very unique. You feel like that you're walking on a sponge. And then a lot of times when I was walking through a farmer's field, I would sink sometimes up to my knees in the bog, and would almost literally suck your shoes off your feet as you brought them up. It was just unreal. And then of course with the cow poop and sheep poop, otherwise known as shepherd's caviar, mixed in with all the bog and the mud and all that kind of stuff, it just, you know, it wasn't very enjoyable. And you know, I don't think I ever adapted to that or not. Sometimes you come to a portion of the trail where you have to bushwhack. In other words, there's no trail, there's nothing but bushes and things in your way, and so you're just going to have to make your own trail. Again, when I was doing the Pacific Crest Trail, there was a section, I think, in Northern California where there were a lot of blowdowns where there had been a fire, and the trees fell across the trail, and so you had to climb over them or climb around them. So again, you have to adapt to it. Sometimes the trail is flat, and there's no elevation and no decline. And you know, some people even complain about that and say, well, it's so boring, you know. Well, again, take what the trail gives you. When I did the Pinhoti Trail, and it was, from what I understand, it's the same way on the Appalachian Trail. It's known as the Green Tunnel because there's so much foliage that surrounds the trail. Whereas on the Pacific Crest Trail, especially in the desert, it's very, very exposed. There's hardly any trees. There was one section on the Pacific Crest Trail that it was so windy that the wind literally blew me into the hillside. And I got up, I just started laughing, you know. It must have been like 100-mile-an-hour winds or whatever. And again, on the Ireland Way, a lot of the trail was through farmers' fields, and there were cattle and sheep that were in the field. I had to walk among them, and so you have to be careful, especially of bulls. And You don't want to go into a field with a bull, and that's about the only dangerous animal there was on the Ireland Way. But take what the trail gives you, don't complain about it, and just adapt to the situations, because if you wait for all conditions and all circumstances to be just right to go out hiking, you're never going to do it. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about things that I learned about hiking, then check out the videos up in the screen there. And until then, I will see you down the trail.